for a limited time, $1 gets you full access to all the automotive industry news and content CBTnews.com has to offer. CBT News. Subscribe today.
This is the Future of Automotive with Steve Greenfield.
Welcome back to the latest episode of the Future of Automotive on CBT News, where we put recent automotive and mobility news into the context of broader thematic areas impacting the industry. I'm Steve Greenfield from Automotive Ventures, and I'm glad that you could join us. For this week's segment, we have two recent news articles that involve the Ford Motor Company. First up this week, it seems like Ford may have unlocked the code on how to get customers to pay for features on a monthly subscription basis, at least in their commercial vehicle division. Ford reported that roughly 400,000 customers, or about 12% of its total connected vehicle base, now pay for subscription services offered by Ford Pro, the automaker's commercial unit. That's 60% more than just a year ago, and Ford thinks it can triple that figure to 1.2 million customers by 2026. In fact, by 2026, 20% of Ford Pro's earnings are expected to come from software services. The company projects that Ford Pro will generate $6 billion in earnings this year, and by 2026 will have the highest profit margins across the company at around 14%. Remember that much of the software-related revenue is very high margin and recurring, both concepts that are of particular attractiveness to Wall Street analysts and shareholders. Ford Pro subscriptions mainly relate to telematics that monitor vehicle health and driver performance, as well as EV charging management. Among the offerings is their product called Visor, a $39 per month field service tool that helps users digitize work quotes and invoices. Ford Pro also offers a number of charging services and has said it expects to generate $1 billion in revenue from commercial charging services by 2030. Now, if only they can convince consumers in their passenger vehicle division to pay by the month to unlock horsepower, EV, range, and rear heated seats. Next up this week, Ford CEO Jim Farley said that he believes that the Chinese are Ford's main competitor, not GM or Toyota. Farley noted that the Chinese are going to be the powerhouse to compete with in the future. To beat Chinese automakers, Farley said, Ford needs either a strong, distinctive brand, which he believes they have, or to compete on lower costs. But Farley noted that how can you possibly beat the Chinese on manufacturing costs if their manufacturing scale is 5 times the US markets around EVs? Additionally, Farley lamented that Europeans have already let the Chinese automakers into their market, which has given them a lot of traction. Beyond Farley's perspective on the Chinese competitive threat, we also heard last week that China is now the largest exporter of EVs, and its lead appears to be growing. In fact, around 35% of EVs exported globally came from China last year, compared to 25% in 2021, according to the International Energy Agency, or IEA. Fast forward to this year, and China exported around 335,000 EV passenger vehicles, including plug-in hybrids, in the first 4 months, more than twice the number in the same period just back in 2022, according to the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers. That accounted for roughly 30% of passenger cars exported from China during the January to April 2023 period. As we have discussed recently on the segment, in 2022, China had more battery production capacity than the rest of the world combined. With nearly 900 gigawatt hours of manufacturing capacity, or 77% of the global total, China is home to 6 of the world's 10 biggest battery makers. Given China's dominance in battery manufacturing and EV supply, and their recently proven ability to produce dramatically cheaper EVs, which seems to be a gap in the US market, I agree with Jim Farley that the industry should be keeping a very cautious eye on China's EV strategy and anticipating the eventual impact on the US market back here at home. So with that, let's transition to our companies to watch. Every week we highlight interesting companies in the automotive technology space to keep an eye on. If you happen to read my monthly industry intel report, which you can subscribe to for free online, I showcase a few companies each month, and we take the opportunity here on this segment to share some of those companies each week with you. Today we have two interesting companies to watch, C2A Security and Connector. Our first company to watch this week is C2A Security. C2A provides cybersecurity solutions relating to electric vehicles. The automotive industry has unique challenges for OEMs and Tier 1 suppliers that aim to protect vehicles from cyber attacks. Ever-evolving software updates and cyber regulations, a shortage of relevant experts, and increasingly complex systems make automation essential in the modern automotive product lifecycle. C2A Security streamlines security work and data flow in the vehicle and beyond, from grids to charging stations and technology across the connected, autonomous, and electrical vehicle landscape. I really like C2A because they provide best-in-class cybersecurity solutions while focusing on product development and streamlined operations. From the connected vehicle to charging stations and the grid, C2A provides automation throughout the product lifecycle, reducing cost, time, and headcount. You can check out C2A Security at www.c2a-sec.com. Our second company to watch this week is Connector. If you've attempted to install an EV charger at home, you may have experienced some of the major challenges facing consumers. With Connector, consumers can get their distributed energy resources, or DERs, including solar panels, electric vehicle chargers, HVAC systems, and electric water heaters, installed quickly and easily at home, and ensure that the solutions work seamlessly with the grid. With Connector, EV installers can avoid the headaches associated with complex interconnections, and utilities can gain new insight into behind-the-meter generation. Connector meter adapters install directly between the home's meter and the meter socket to create a single plug-and-play access point for DER installation. From there, utilities and installers can plug and play with solar storage and electric vehicles. I really love this innovative solution as an alternative for consumers installing EV chargers in their homes. The Connector solution greatly simplifies installation and reduces interconnection time from hours down to minutes. You can literally be up and running within 10 minutes. And every home with a utility meter works with Connector. I encourage you to check out Connector at www.connector.com. So that's it for this week's Future of Automotive segment. If you're an auto tech entrepreneur working on a solution that helps car dealerships, we want to hear from you. We are actively investing out of our new dealer fund. If you're interested in joining our investment club to make direct investments into auto tech and mobility startups with very small checks, please join the club. There's no obligation to start seeing our deal flow, and we continue to have attractive investment deals available to our members. And don't forget to check out my book, The Future of Automotive Retail, which is available on Amazon.com. Thank you for tuning in to CBT News for this week's Future of Automotive segment, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching The Future of Automotive with Steve Greenfield.
Join the #1 most watched newscast in the automotive industry. CBT News. Subscribe today.